let's see if that happens. So, answer key. Actually, you are right. If I leave this on too long, it probably will automatically use the algorithm. But we'll see what happens. I want to put it on because I need you guys to try to go with me in your minds and see where it takes you if you just listen to that music. But all right, 831-832. I'm going to pull mine out while you guys start checking yours. Guys, I got a new board game over the weekend, and I'm super excited to play it. But my wife won't play it with me right now because she doesn't want to learn a new game. But fortunately for you guys and for me, something that... Have you guys been told about May term yet? So May term, some of you guys know what it is. May term is coming up here the last full week of school. So guys, one of the things why I'm telling you this also is to say, keep your foot on the gas pedal right now. Because when we come back from spring break, so spring break's next week, we come back from spring break the week of the 18th to the 22nd, and then the last full week of school is that 16th to 20th. I think my computer's being glitchy because it's trying to not record my calendar probably. I don't care if people see that I have a bylaws meeting. I have a really boring meeting tonight that's at 7 p.m., not 7 a.m. I didn't make that. I know AM versus PM, just to defend myself. Guys, this week, the 16th to the 20th, you will have no regular classes. None. You will sign up for a completely alternative schedule. So really, when we get back from spring break, you'll take your test, that week back will be the math test week, so we won't have regular math class. We'll be prepping for the test. We'll do a little review activity. So really what I'm telling you is you're almost there. Right? You've almost made it to the end of the year. We've just got a couple more weeks that we'll go back to do some CPM homework. But tonight's homework, because I got jealous of Mr. Smith and his funny joke book, which I need to radio him and tell him I borrowed his joke book. This homework will not be collected till after spring break, but it's funny. And it lets you practice something that's going to be on the state test. I can guarantee it. So please try it. Please do it. And it says... Partner A does the left side. Partner B does the right side. So you could say, hey, do you want to do the left side? I'll do the right side. And then we get back together to compare answers and look at what happened. Because it says cross out the letters above each correct answer. So you cross those out. The remaining... You okay, Vanessa? It's just a fresh copy. I literally just copied it. Are you saying it smells? I know, because it hole punched the wrong side. So the back of it that says what happened when the TV set asked the remote control for a date, that is optional. That is more extra practice for area, but that's optional. Eve, you with me? Because I don't want you to think that both sides are that you have to do. Only the side with the spaceship joke is what you need to do. Okay? And the back side is different. Make sure you read the directions. The back side is not cross out letters. It is different. All right, questions on 831-832. 60 was your first one. Please check if you got those correct, and if not, ask me a question, because that is checking our angle pair relationships. Or sorry, 60 was an estimate. My bad. I'm thinking about a different homework. So 60 was estimate. You should be close. I probably maybe would have said 30 or 45 because those are nicer numbers. 40 is not as nice as 45, actually. 100 for B, as long as you have over 90. As long as you said something over 90. C, you should have recognized 90. Why? The square. The right angle is noted, right? The square that they give you. And then some sort of acute angle. I don't know. 30. I mean, it looks smaller than A, right? D looks smaller than A. So that's kind of where I thought, okay, it's probably 35. Questions on 61. That was the only other one on the front. The line segment had 2 X's and 10. We saw that it was equal to 24. And then we saw from there. Eve, are you good, or do you need another copy, or what's up?
I think I turned it in yesterday.
Oh. You might have, and it might be in my thing of ungraded. So guys, last night I only graded what needed updated in math because I'm a little behind. so we don't fall in the trap of like having incorrect answers turned in. Any questions? 60, 61. And then Eve, if you've got questions, we might want to chat later, just so we don't delay this. Flip to the back. Let's all check the back together, please. We jumped to 74. We jumped to the next lesson. How did you figure out that this angle was 30 degrees? Lucas?
Because altogether to make a 180.
Because when we open up all the way to a straight angle or a flat angle, that's 180 degrees.
And then they already show that there's 60, so you subtract the 60 from both sides.
Subtract the 60.
With 4x, and then you divide both sides.
Boom, shaka, laka.
There we go. Why do you have a strip?
This is a compass, actually. It's how you draw circles on an old-fashioned chalkboard.
I thought it was okay.
Whereas now I just poke a tool and drag a circle out and it's perfect. Back in the olden days, you'd have to put this on a chalkboard and turn it in a circle and hope it didn't move. Or, I mean, literally back when I started teaching and I had like chalkboards and stuff, I'd just slap something on the board that was a circle and trace it. That's what we're doing today, is a bunch of circle stuff. All right, other questions, 75 or 76? 76, I'll scooch over to the graph here in a second. 75, guys, please check these. And if you don't have them done, write them down. A is vertical, and that was in your notes, right? I gave you those relationships in your notes. What's the memory trick for complementary? Mia, I love the color of your hair. Franco, I love the curls of your hair. To compliment someone is the right thing to do. Complementary angles add up to 90. So guys, if you didn't recognize that they add up to 90, think about that in your head. 65 plus 25 adds up to 90. C, supplementary. I don't really have a funny memory trick except for you take supplements to get bigger. I guess I could say like the barbell that most people that take supplements, it's a straight line. My wife, who lifts a lot of weights, although, I mean, she takes some supplements, but remember, supplements are not steroids. Supplements are like your vitamins. That is a supplement. You are supplementing missing stuff in your body. My wife's not roiding out, don't worry. And adjacent, what's adjacent mean?
They're next to each other.
Next door neighbors that share a fence, right? Adjacent, the biggest thing that makes these adjacent, guys, is that we have this shared side between them. They both open up. Actually, they don't necessarily, they have to have the shared side and the shared vertex. So that's the biggest thing, is they have the shared side and they have the shared vertex. Hey, I want to make the offer again. I'm staying tonight. You can stay until 5:30 if you would like to stay after school and get some extra work done and try to get mastered for Friday. I'm staying until 5:30. You gotta have a ride. We gotta see a text confirmation from your parent, or they gotta like email me and let me know or whatever. So talk to me if you want to potentially do that. I bet like myself or Mrs. Goldring would let you grab your phone and text your parents and ask, or like your advisor could, because your advisor probably texts your parents a lot. Not maybe a lot, but all right. And the graph for 76 should look like a trapezoid. Guys, if this doesn't make sense to you, it's also because they scaled their graph weird. They scaled their graph by 3s, right? This point B is 3 out the x-axis. So please double check. Is your A 3 left and 3 down? Is your B 3 to the right? Is your C 3 right and 6 up? Farah? No, negative is always on the left or down. So thank you for asking that. It comes down to like when we read and we're like going left to right sort of stuff. Like when we look at numbers and we're going like to the right is positive. Yeah, I'm trying to think of where that confusion could have come from, but I'm glad you asked that so we can fix that. To the right is our positive, up is our positive. All right, let's, if that's done, turn that in. That's the last homework due this week. So guys, if that's not done, like get it done, get it turned in, and you're good. That's the last homework due this week. I may or may not get that posted in math. Right now, it's probably more likely that I won't because I'm busy these evenings. But guys, what is going to get posted in MAP is 717 and 718. I forget if I already did 717.
Did you do lunch count yet?
No. I pulled up the email and then I forgot because I think somebody asked me something else. We can do lunch count while recording. It doesn't matter. Your option today is popcorn chicken bowl, hamburger, cheeseburger, cheese pizza, pepperoni pizza, sun butter, and jelly. So popcorn chicken bowl is really the main option. Hands up for popcorn chicken bowl. 11. We're going to hope I can count because I don't have Miss Martin here to help me out. There we go. We were just getting worried that I don't know how to count well enough that I need you as backup. Hamburger. How many people want hamburger? Hamburger is a sad burger. Cheeseburger. 1, 2. Cheese pizza. Cheese pizza is a sad pizza. Pepperoni pizza. I heard they pulled a bait and switch with the Bosco sticks yesterday. Sun butter and jelly. Sun butter and jelly. Heard it ended up being like cheesy bread.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Although it still looked good.
It did not taste good at all. I refused to eat it because it was the same thing that it was in like this.
Hey, I've got a solution for you guys. Pack your lunch. Oh, he went there. Oh, he went there. All right, hold on. So if that homework was done, turn it in. I was checking. So guys, in MAP already right now, the grades aren't in, but 717 I made and dropped in. I don't know why I forgot to make 718, and then 8, 2, 1, and 2. I'm probably gonna leave it at those assignments. Like I'm gonna update those grades. If you turned in your 717 or 18, I have it here. I just haven't graded it yet because I'm behind. I'm doing all these conferences with the newbies that are coming in, which they all seem awesome. Like we had one do a tour yesterday, and Miss Martin and I got to meet them after school. But get done like last week's homework, and you're probably like you're pretty good. So if you're worried about it, come see me or come to math lunch. Right? I think the weather's going to be kind of poopy again today, so math lunch would be a good idea. So, I want to see if this experiment works. So, this is one of my favorite, especially around the holidays. And one of these songs you guys would know. I'm trying to remember which. So, this song you'd actually know. So that is Vince Guaraldi Trio, one of my favorite jazz artists. I actually have his vinyl album at home. Song Linus and Lucy. But one thing that always confused me about Charlie Brown, beyond the fact that the teachers, when they talk, were wah, 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 wah. No, okay. When the teachers in Charlie Brown talk, or I think any adults, you can't understand what they're saying. Which I thought was a cool part of the show, of just like, we don't care what the adults are saying. It's wah, 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 wah. But think about what Charlie Brown looks like. Charlie Brown's head
Is a bowling ball.
is a circle. Now, even though when you might start drawing pictures, you might draw somebody's face as a circle, but it's not, right? So this got me thinking about circles. And of course, if I'm thinking about circles,
You're thinking about thighs.
I'm thinking about pizza specifically, because come on. So first, let's just imagine we've got a can of tennis balls. We'll get to talking about pizza and everything else, but let's imagine that we got a can of tennis balls. If I haven't said this before, I used to play tennis. Well, I still would if somebody wanted to go play. Nice. So, if we had a can of tennis balls and we wrapped a string around it, and sorry, I have a can of tennis balls somewhere. It's in a box that I believe got lost between Perry and here. I'm missing like 3 boxes. So I need to go buy another can. But imagine wrapping a string around the can. Or I guess you can just say, okay, around the tennis ball. How long, if I unravel that string, how long do you think that would be? So just chat with your teammates for a second. What do you think? How long would that be? Wow. Yes. Doesn't matter. Compare it to how big the circle is. The string, if we wrap it around, how long would it be? And really, this is going to act as my can. Actually, you might as well use this since it's not full of water. Yes. A no-name thing. What? Interesting. And it's chapter 6 closure. All right. So, if I tell you that my tennis ball can, because for lack of better resources, is 4 inches wide. Sorry to go American on you. 4 inches wide. So this black line, 4 inches across. Anyone want to make a guess of like how we could figure out if I wrap this string around it, how long that would be?
Multiply those 2 arrows together. I don't know.
Multiply the 2 arrows together. Vincent, thank you for raising a hand.
I would say like multiply it by 2 or 3.5-ish.
2 or 3.5-ish. You want to clean that up a little bit and tell me which one you would prefer?
I would start off with 2.5 because it looks like that arrow could, if you went around 2.5 times, it would cover it. Or you could do the radius times like 7.
Whoa, what is a radius? What are you making up words here?
It's half. It's from one edge to the center.
From one edge to the center.
Yeah.
Ah. So you mean like this red arrow?
Yeah, the red arrow. Multiply that by 7 1/4, and you should get
7 1/4.
Yeah.
What is 7 1/4?
He's speaking facts. 720.25.
7 1/4. So I've got a string, wrapped it around, got my knot tied, pretty much exactly where it goes. Now, if I then compare that to the width of the circle, so the width of the circle actually has a really specific name. But if you visualize how many widths of the circle do you think does this string take up? Chat with your team and make a guess. Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it somewhere between a couple of them? Here, I'll walk around too. So here you go. What do you think, Eve? 3? I love children's books that teach me things. Definitely not 2, says Kylie. So less than 2, more than 2. Or Kylie says 3. this leads us to our notes packet. So grab this. Ooh, Miss Martin, I have a present for you. You get a color one as well, except I forgot the whole bunch of it. Because the teachers, they were complaining. Yeah, now you guys can really whine. They whined when they came in, and they didn't even know that I had made you a copy. You are correct. It is favoritism. So, pitter patter raindrops. What does the prefix circum mean? Around. The circumference is the fancy name for the perimeter of a circle, because instead of calling it perimeter, which you have to add up all the sides. Marina, are you okay? Are you and Layla, are you guys fighting over highlighters or something? Because I have like 30 of them up there, and if I've ran out, ask me. I got more. I even got more. Quit fighting with each other. All right, are we listening? Circumference is the distance around. Hey, if you're making weird noises, please stop. I know who you are. It's annoying. It's childish. I'm trying to teach. If you can't handle it, go to the office and call your parents. Thank you.
Could Olive Majors and Peyton Young please come to the Perry main office? Thank you.
So, it's fine and dandy to know, okay, circumference is the fancy word for perimeter. But why is it different? I don't need to add up sides. There's just one side all the way around because it's a circle, right? Now, some people will argue it's infinitely many sides, and there's actually a scene in this movie where he talks about, like, a circle's never ending, and the beginning is the ending, and all this, like, but, you've seen wedding rings, you've seen circles. It's not like an octagon or something with a bunch of sides, except some cool wedding rings are. It's a circle. It's continuous, right? My wedding ring has a wood inlay because I like woodworking. So how we find that, jump down to here. This is what we all just predicted, except if we want to be exact, so here off to the left, that is actually 3.14 times D. Now wait, what is D? D is our fancy word for the width of the circle, which is the diameter. So if you're highlighting with colors with me, we could do circumference all the way around the circle. My highlighting skills are less than ideal. Now, this is also what this means then. If I take the pink distance, the circumference around the circle, and divide it by the diameter, that gets me pi. I wish it got me a pizza, but it gets me pi. Literally, if I take the distance around a circle, divide by the distance across it, it gets me 3.14159.265, like, it gets me that endless number. Because the roundness of the circle, guys, it essentially breaks long division. Literally, if you start dividing circumference divided by diameter, you'll never finish. And there are computers trying to finish, and there is no end. Antonella?
How do we know that it's infinite?
What we know is it has gone to about 40 quadrillion places, according to computers so far. And unless you would like to count that far, or you care about that much precision in decimal places, we've essentially said, fine, we don't care anymore, but computers keep going. So we're letting the computers keep doing the long division. It has not found an end. And actually, you can do a bunch of research on pi about the infinitesimally small value, like the fact that the value at the end of pi that we know right now doesn't matter. It's so small. It's so specific. It doesn't matter. Guys, when NASA goes to land something on another planetary object, the moon, Mars, whatever, it only uses pi. Anyone want to guess how many decimal places they use? 15. The amount of decimal places that NASA uses is 3.14159.265.358.97. Maybe that 932, maybe if they feel like it. That's it. But then there's 500 digits of pi. They don't care about all those. Wow. That you only need to be so precise in your calculations. So most of the time, we approximate pi to just be 3.14. We know it actually continues to go on, but most of the time we just approximate it to be 3.14. Now, something that's not in this picture that we need to add in, if we just go from the center out or from the edge in, that value is what we call the... Anyone want to help me? The radius, so let's label that with an R. So the radius is half the diameter, or the diameter is 2 times the radius. So guys, this formula, and guys, I centered this like I did because I want you to write here with me. This formula is actually, because they put it in an interesting order, I thought about like cutting it and moving it around, but I didn't. This formula is actually 2 times the radius because that is your diameter. 2 times the radius, that's your diameter, times pi. So really, it's always diameter times pi, but if I know the radius, I can double it to find the diameter. Everyone good? Because I don't want to move on until I know that everyone's got these things written down. This is my radius. It doesn't matter if you drew her straight down. So if I measure this to be 4 inches across, to find the circumference around it, I do 4, that distance across, times pi. Grab a calculator and do that. Yeah, if you don't have one, get one. Hey, the week after spring break for testing, if you want your own calculator, if you want a handheld calculator, you pretty much need to bring one. We do not have enough school calculators. You will have a calculator built into the test for the second day when you're allowed to use a calculator. But, like, bring your own if you want to make sure you can use a handheld calculator. I like these better. On your calculator, and I should grab one of the other ones. Anyone got one I can borrow? Find the button that is pi. Oh, thanks, Antonella. Are there extras over there? I'm just going to walk over and grab one. Oh, there's none of the yellow ones. This is very close. At least I think it might be the same. Hey, Vincent, put it away. It's a distraction. So it is the same on the blue one versus the yellow one. You have a button that is pi. Guys, just hit that button and hit enter. So if you want to know pi to like 10 decimal places, there you go. But if I want to calculate circumference, I'll do the diameter times pi. Hit enter. And that's a really long, kind of messy number. The other option is do the diameter times 3.14. I'm going to do all of this again on this calculator so we can see it better. So if I do 4 times pi, I get that longer, kind of messy number. If I do 4 times 3.14, I still get essentially the same number. It would be off by about 6 thousandths. right? I'm off by 0.006. So if I want to be really accurate, use exact pi. If you don't care about accuracy, or if the question says use 3.14 for pi, if it says use 3.14 for pi, cough, cough, that's what your homework wants you to do, then you use 3.14 for pi. Okay? If you want to be super accurate, use your pi button. Otherwise, you can use 3.14. All right, now we go get pizza. And I'm trying to fit the leftovers into the box. So, initially, my pizzas, hey, come with me right here because yours is printed in black and white and it didn't come out very good. I'm sorry. Hey, the copy machine doesn't work in color, Antonella. So I had to print this from the actual printer, or the copy machine can't run color copies, and they're a lot more expensive. So guys, like, if you come to me and say, I'm gonna like put this in a sleeve protector and like keep it and protect it and use it, and like I'll print you a color one if you really want, but I just can't do it for everyone because I know some of you guys lose these, some of you guys never look at it again, some of you are just waiting to burn your papers after school, which you shouldn't because there's ink on them and that makes bad smoke. But if my pizza is cut into 4 slices, and I go to try to put it in a box, and I do 1 slice down, 1 slice up, 1 slice down, 1 slice up, I start to realize, like, man, if I cut these pieces a little bit smaller, it would be a lot closer to a rectangle. So I actually cut into a lot more pieces. And I go 1 slice down, 1 slice up, 1 slice down, 1 slice up. And what actually happens is half of the pizza is pointing down. Half of the pizza is pointing up. Are we with me still? And since the entire distance around the pizza, the circumference was, as we said up here, 2 times the radius times pi, or we could say diameter times pi, but I'm going to say 2 times the radius times pi, and I only do half of it pointing up. What's half of this? Well, that's not that hard. I don't want to use the E word, but if I divide by 2, what's 2 over 2 get? A giant 1. And this just becomes the width of our rectangle would just be pi times the radius, especially if you can't tell that that's a pi. Please write it on your own. So there's pi times radius on bottom and pi times radius on top. And how tall is this, is like each pizza slice? The radius. Each pizza slice is a radius tall. So what we end up doing, and guys, I have all this written up here for you. What we end up doing is pi times radius times radius. And if I write down, this starts to become clear how we get to our formula. The area is, well, the width, right, pi times radius, times the height, radius. Come on, focus, come back for me. You're getting worse. There it is. So pi times radius for the length, times the radius, that is the height. And what happens when we have a number times itself? No. John, your shouting out is not working very well today. A number times itself, like 3 times 3 or 4 times 4 or 7 times 7, is squared. So it's pi times radius squared, and that's how we derive, that's a fancy word for get. That's how we derive the circle formula. Now, if all these colors didn't work out, that's also why I gave you this pizza. So they're just alternating colors. Now, the reason I didn't only give you that pizza is in, like, 2 years ago or whenever I last taught it, somebody was like, ew, Michigan, because it's yellow and blue, but come on, who cares? And now they beat us, so honestly, we got to get our title back. Half the pizza pointed down, half the pizza pointed up. And actually, guys, this pizza's even better because the final slice, I cut the final slice in half so that my edges were square, so that my edges were straight up and down, as opposed to still being the size they were. Eve, you with me? Because your highlighters look really interesting to me. Antonella.
But the top or the bottom where it leads into the tray would be like.
So you're right, except for imagine trimming a tiny bit off of each little bump up and filling in the bump down. Like, so you just gotta, like, imagine we can force it to become a rectangle, essentially. And, guys, if we make these slices, imagine slicing your pizza into 1,000,000 slices. Just imagine. And each triangle is so skinny, the curve at the top is pretty much a straight line. Does that make sense? So as we slice it into more and more slices, this curve at the top of each slice becomes closer and closer and closer to a straight line. I'm really glad you said that, because that's absolutely true. But that's why we need to imagine like 1,000,000 slices or 10,000,000 slices. This is starting to sound like the fishes and loaves story, where if I just keep slicing my pizza, is there an infinite amount of pizza if I keep slicing it? So let's practice this and get a couple of your homework problems done. Let's look at 1A and 2A. We'll all start as left side people. With your team, try to solve the circumference of this circle over here and the area. Guys, both of these are for the circle at the right. Both of these are for this circle, the 9.4 circle. Try those. Take a couple minutes. We got 5 left. Remember, area uses radius. This is why we're practicing together. Guys, there's really only one area formula. Circumference has 2 formulas that we kind of bounce back and forth. Area, remember, radius squared is not plus itself, it's times itself. Be careful. We got to use our calculator to do that for us. The biggest mistake, radius squared is not diameter. Radius squared is not diameter. except for one case when we use a 2, and 2 plus 2 is the same as 2 times 2. There's one case where that happens. But up here, pi times diameter. Diameter is the whole way across. What's pi times 9.4? And we're using 3.14 for pi. Remember, we're using 3.14. 29.516? Centimeters. Guys, we need labels. Marina, why are you making a face? Do I need to check that math? 3.14 times 9.4? Yeah, it's 29.516. Or, guys, if we have the diameter, this formula is just more complicated. We don't need to use the radius formula if we have the diameter. So then come down here. For our area, 4.7 squared. I want to review this before we get out of here because, guys, you're going to use your calculator for this homework to square something. So first off, we had 9.4 as the diameter. So we did 9.4 divided by 2 to find the radius. We found, and you should draw in on your paper, the radius is 4.7. To do that squared, guys, you can either do 4.7 times 4.7, or you can do 4.7, find the little button on your calculator with x to a 2. There's a little 2 above the x. That is your squared button. It will put a little 2, it'll put a square on your 4.7. That gets the same answer. So that times my 3.14, and our area is 69.3626. Hold on, let's make sure we have these two answers. 69.3626. Guys, you're probably going to need graph paper to do the work of this worksheet because I didn't make this worksheet. So those two answers we just found we need to cross out. So I'm looking for 69 point, rounded, 69.4. So we cross out the G. Guys, cross out the G at the bottom. Our answer for the first one was 29.5 if we round. So we're looking for 29.5. Cross out the E. So we got 2 letters crossed out already. You're on a start to figuring out how we can tie up a spaceship. All right, that's all I got for you. I'm like a minute over time. I am sorry. Have a wonderful day. I was going to try to make a joke about circles, but I'm out.